I'm Amir Hussain from Bangladesh. Today's online symposium titled Impacts of Novel Coronavirus COVID-19 on the Marginalized Population of the Global South and Application of Mixed Methods. Based on impacts of novel coronavirus COVID-19 on the marginalized population of the Global South, I have selected some sorts of bullet points through which I would like to present my paper. And these bullet points include as follows: who are marginalized population and what are their threats. Manifesto regarding coronavirus is split out given by the dogmatically blind people rurally and urbanly in South Asian regions, psychological trauma and paranoia, data collection approach, application of mixed methods, qualitative and quantitative methodology, preventive steps for marginalized population. First one, who are marginalized population and what are their threats? Marginalized populations are groups and communities that experience discrimination and exclusion and socially, politically, and economically because of unequal power relations across economic, political, social, and cultural dimensions. Minnesota Psychological Association points out that the social revolution of the 1970s coined the word marginalized to describe the experiences of those who live on the fringe of extreme poverty. The term marginalized has expanded from originally by referring to the minorities and persons from extreme poverty, with a view to including a long list of cultures and populations globally. So, there are some major traits of marginalized populations which include beggar, widows, elderly, and the disabled. Female-headed households with small children without any male support, no secure income, have a household with a number of unemployed members, belongs to socially less prestigious class, have no little education at all, no social capital, no political relation, less access to basic human needs, no assets or little assets, have a normal meal in a day, face severe financial constraints throughout the year. Second point, manifesto regarding coronavirus is spelled out given by the dogmatically blind people living in the rural and South Asian regions in India and Bangladesh. According to Cambridge Dictionary, a written statement of the belief, aims, and policies of an organization, especially a political party. In the face of this global pandemic, rural and urban people's faith in religion has deepened than before, especially in South Asian regions, including India and Bangladesh. There is a saying among the minds of the common people, this global pandemic coronavirus is an injustice or wrath of Almighty Allah. Their argument is that people have deviated from the religious path or faith, so this coronavirus is an avenge. According to the Holy Quran, don't take us in the way of those on whom you have become angry, those on whom your wrath has fallen. In the Surah Araf, Allah has given an epidemic to the Egyptian Cupids. In this regard, Allah says, then I afflict them with flood, locust, lice, frogs, and flood. These are the clear symptoms and indications, but they remained arrogant and they are a criminal community. Surah Al-Araf 133. Mufti Waliur Rahman Khan, one of the clerics of the top government religious body, the Islamic Foundation of Bangladesh, in this regard, he says, in the villages, people are so scared that they started to visit mosque more frequently than before. We fought this with moral education and motivation. Third point, psychological trauma and paranoia. This psychological trauma and paranoia include social distancing, conversion disorder, healing, cognitive bias, adjustment disorder, hypochondriasis, sleep disorder, acute stress disorder, racial conflicts, mental disorder, panic, fear, and anxiety. Fourth point, data collection approach. To write this conference paper, I had to depend on some sorts of relevant sources which include daily newspapers, medical practitioners, health specialists, reporters, internet sources, global news, worldometers, World Health Organizations, United Nations Office for the Coordination of the Humanitarian Affairs, and so on. Fifth point, application of mixed methods qualitative and quantitative methodologies. A mixed method research is a procedure for collecting, analyzing, mixing both qualitative and quantitative research in a single study to understand the research problem that I would like to expose here. There are some characteristics of mixed methods: nature of problems, research questions, research methodology, researcher's behavior, study results. First one, nature of problems. Here I would like to investigate the problems of the marginalized population living in Bangladesh and India who are greatly infected, have become financially handicapped owing to coronavirus. Second, research questions. There are two types of research questions I have included in my paper. First research question: how has novel coronavirus impacted on marginalized population in global south? Second research question: what steps are immediately needed to overcome this terrifyingly difficult situation? Research methodology. Here I would like to combine qualitative and quantitative approaches as components of the study. So I would like to expose the complexity of the research problem with a view to measuring the objectives and to describing their subjective elements as directly as possible towards its manifestation and expression. Next, researcher's behavior. My study is in the phase which is based on how I will provide an insight to the complexity of the problem and answer the research questions with a view to achieving my targets. Last, study results. The collection of the qualitative and quantitative data would provide more complete information, descriptive or broader, from the research problem, and this would allow me to make more informed decisions about how to solve the research problem. Then, quantitative research. In this research, I would like to decide what to study or what to ask specific questions, collect quantifiable data from the participants. After then, I would like to analyze the numbers by using statistical process, and then I would like to conduct the inquiry in an unbiased and objective manner. Quantitative methodology. In this methodology, I will have to follow performance test, personality measures, questionnaire, data collection approach to carry out my research projects. Qualitative research, a type of research in which I will have to depend on the views of the participants, ask broad or general questions, collect data consisting of words or text from the participants. Then I will investigate these words or the text for themes and conduct the inquiry in a subjective and biased process. Qualitative methodology. In this approach, I would like to complete interview process, open-ended questionnaire, observation process, data analysis, presentation, focus groups in a successful process so that I can foster the real picture of the marginalized populations living in the global south. Last steps, that is preventive steps for the marginalized populations. Use plain language, provide safe spaces where they feel safety, physical, mental, emotional health care needs, consideration of impacts of discrimination, trauma, exclusion, and negative attitudes, promotion of non-discrimination and inequality, ensure fundamental rights, build government capacity, build UNDP capacity, provide training opportunity, identify minority rights standards, interagency cooperations, parliamentary supports, protection of the provisions of the basic social service among the marginalized communities and minorities, try to understand and assess the situation of the minorities in a given country. Finally, my thanks goes to the organizing committee of Mixed Method International Research Association, Caribbean Center, Jamaica, for today's online symposium 2020. Of course, you have questions in your mind. Then you can share with me at the end. That is the question time. I will try my level best to answer your question. Thanks once again.